Okay, so in this video I'm going to have a look at changing recurring decimals to fractions. Now I did a little bit of this in another video on geometric sequences and series. So what I'm going to do in this video is just have a look at 4 examples. So I'm going to take a recurring decimal, and that recurring decimal is 1.333. We'll put a dot over this last 3 here, which means that this 3 here repeats on forever. So it's 1.3333 and so on. So it's 1 1/3. Which is 4 over 3 as a fraction. Now, the method that I'm going to use I'm going to use a particular method to change this particular recurring decimal into this fraction here. So let's do that. So let's take this recurring decimal here, and we'll just call it x. What I'm going to do is multiply the x by 10. So I multiply this side here by 10. So I get 13.3333 and so on. Okay, so all I've done is move the decimal point 1 place to the right here. Now what I'm going to do is subtract these two then. So I'm going to take the 10x and I'm going to subtract x. So this 10x minus this x here. So on the right hand side this becomes 13.3333 and so on, minus 1.3333 and so on. So on the left hand side we end up with 9x. And on the right hand side we end up with, well, 13 minus 1 is going to be 12, and all these 0.3s here will cancel, if you like, with all these 0.33s. So if you subtract all these 0.3s, 0.3 recurring from these 0.3 recurring, you'll just get 0. So what we end up with here is 9x is equal to 12. That will give me x is equal to 12 over 9, or just x is equal to 4 over 3, which is what we got up here. Okay, so that's it. So 1.3, or 1 1/3 expressed as a fraction, is 4 over 3. So that's my first example. That's a fairly straightforward example. So let's have a look at another one. So I'm going to take, this time I'm going to take the x as being equal to 1.004, and the 4 is just going to repeat here. So the zeros are not repeating, the 4 is going to repeat. So this is 1.00444444. Okay, so what do we do here in this case? If we multiply by 10, the decimal point will end up here, and when we subtract, it's not going to work out very neatly for us. So what we're going to do here is first of all multiply by 100. So I'm going to take 100x. So that means move this decimal point 2 places to the right. So that will give me 100.444 and so on. The 4 will repeat. Now I'm also going to multiply that x by 1,000. So I'm going to get 1,000 here, 1,000x here. And on the right hand side, so I move the decimal point 3 places to the right. So I'll get 1004.444 and so on. So the 4 will repeat here. So really what I'm trying to end up with here is a repeating part here on the right, exactly the same as the repeating part here on the right. So now I just subtract these two here. So I take, on the left hand side, I'm going to take 1,000x and I'm going to subtract 100x. On the right hand side then, what I'm going to end up with, in fact, is just simply 904. 904. All the 0.4s will subtract from all of these 0.4s here, and I'll get 0. And so I just end up subtracting the 100 from 1,004. So on the left hand side I'm going to end up with 900x, and on the right hand side I end up with 904. So that will just give me finally x is equal to 904 over 900. 904 over 900. And that will reduce down. I'll let you do that yourselves. You can just key this into your calculator, press equals, it'll simplify it for you. So there it is. That's 1.004 with the 4 repeating as a fraction, 904 over 900. And you can simplify it whatever way you like then after that. Okay, so that's the second example. Another example then. I'm going to take 1.027. So this time I'm going to take x is equal to 1.027. Now this time the 2 is repeating and the 7 is repeating. So this is 1.02727272727 and so on. So what do we do with this? Well, we want to first of all multiply by 10. So if we take 10x here, and then on the right hand side that will give me 10.272727 and so on. 27 will repeat. So on the left hand side then again I'm going to multiply this time by 1, 2, 3. I want to bring it up here. I want to bring the decimal point is here, remember, so I want to bring that up 3 places to the right. So I'm going to multiply by 1000x, multiply by x by 1000 rather, so I get 1000x on the left hand side. On the right hand side then this is going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3 places here, so I end up with 1027.2727 and so on. So you can see again on the right hand side of both of these I end up with the repeating part, the repeating decimal 272727 here and 272727 here, so that when I subtract these the repeating part will just cancel. So on the left hand side then I'm going to subtract, so I have 1000x, I'm going to subtract the 10x. On the right hand side then, when I subtract these the decimal part will just disappear, it will cancel if you like. On the right hand side then I just simply end up with 1017. So here I end up on the left hand side with 990x. On the right hand side I still have 1017. So at the end then I just end up with x is equal to 1017 divided by 990. So there's my fraction. So you'll be able to divide top and bottom by 3 here and so on. To simplify it again, I won't do that, I'll let you do that yourselves. So this is my fraction here. So this is 1.027 with the 27 part repeating as a fraction, 1017 over 990. Okay, so one more example then and I'll leave it at that then. So this time I'm going to take x. X is going to be 1.070744, and I'm just going to repeat the 4 here. Whoops, that's here. So this is 1.0744444444 and so on. Okay. So again on the left hand side rather I'm going to multiply by 100. So I'm going to take 100x. So that on the right hand side is going to move the decimal point up to here so that the 4s are repeating. So I end up with 107.444 and so on. Now I need to multiply again. So this time I'm going to multiply by 1000x. So I'm going to take 1000x here. And on the right hand side then if I multiply by 1000 this is going to be 1, 2, 3, so that's going to be 1074.444 and so on. So again subtract the left hand side, so I end up with 1000x minus 100x, and on the right hand side all the 0.4s will cancel again. That's what we want in each case, the right hand side or the right hand side of the decimal points to disappear. So on the right hand side we end up with 967. Okay, so if we subtract the left hand side then we end up with 900x and 967 on the right hand side. So if we divide across by 900 we end up with 967 over 900. So again, if you can simplify this, simplify it as a mixed fraction or an improper fraction, whichever way you like to do it. But this is basically our fraction here. This is what x is. So 1.0744 with the 4 repeating is 967 over 900. And that is it.